it's funny because I can see the feed and it's like got a tiny bit of a delay. So it's very strange to watch it. We should be live here in a second.
Hi, Laura.
Wave hi. Huh? Wave hi. She can see you.
There we are. Yay, little live window that pops up on my phone. So I know that that for sure we're live on Facebook. Let me see if there's any audience peeps that I need to let in here really quickly. Oh, there he is. Yay, our final actor for this evening. Woohoo. Wonderful. If you are all joining us, it's just about 7 o'clock. I might wait just like another minute before we officially get started in case we have some last moment audience. We are live on Facebook now as well. Wonderful. So yeah, let me mute that so I don't have to hear it, but I can see it. It's good to have two devices to keep an eye on here. So yeah, we'll start here officially in about a minute, guys. So just bear with me. If you are not in the first reading, if you could mute yourself and turn off your video, that would be great. And then I'll do our official getting the show started and announcement, and we'll get this ball rolling. Awesome. Yep, a couple more audience members here, so bear with me. A couple of people on Facebook too. This is great. I actually have a list for next week. I'm so proud of myself that I actually got that done before this week. I'm so proud. Audio.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, Ife.
Hey. Hey.
Wonderful. All righty. Well, welcome everybody. If this is your first Monday, welcome. And this is our audience on Zoom and or Facebook Live. I'm Celeste Cosentino. I'm the Executive Artistic Director of Ensemble Theater. And this is the 8th of the Monday night readings that we've been doing during these crazy COVID times where we cannot be in person. There's this wonderful group of writers that meet, that used to meet in our space every week on Wednesdays from 7 to 9. They now do it digitally via Zoom. And we came up with this great idea of having these Monday night readings every other Monday at 7. So here we are in our second of 2021. I'm hoping that this year is much better than last year. So far, so good. I want to cross my fingers, everybody. Who knows? Really excited to hear that there's a vaccine out there. So maybe in the fall, I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. Maybe earlier where we can actually do theater in person again. But until then, and my computer is sliding, so my apologies for the shakes there for a moment. Until then, we're using this wonderful technology that I think every college, probably theater company, family has come to know as their friend. So via Zoom, we've been able to do these wonderful readings. And Stage Rights has still been able to meet every Wednesday and continue to try to do some of the work that they're doing, even though COVID has kept us all apart. I cannot thank enough. This is just something I like to share in general, all of the frontline workers that are working regardless of what is going on in this world, that are helping us all stay fed and clothed and all that wonderful stuff. So every time we do a show, I'm thankful for those people, and I just want to put that out into the world. I'm also thankful for all of the artists that are involved in doing this with us. Cleveland is such a rich community of writers, of actors, of theater companies. You know, we're really lucky to have such a great community to be a part of. So just some housekeeping things. If you are an actor or a playwright or an audience member that is not involved in the first reading, so if you came in after I let everybody know the kind of house rules, If you could please keep your audio and your video off, because the way we have our Zoom set up is it actually focuses on who's speaking. So if you make noise in the background, it'll focus on you and not on our lovely actors. And we want to see all their wonderful work. And then that will happen for whatever actors switch for the next reading. They'll go ahead and turn off their audio and their video, and the actors for the second reading will turn their stuff on. And I'll let you guys know that. There's the two options to share comments and or thoughts on our pieces. You can use the chat function within the Zoom. And what I'll do is I'll read those. Everybody will see them, but I'll read them in between the two readings. You can also use our Facebook live stream as well to leave comments as well. And I will try to get to both of those. In between, I'll also let you guys know the lineup for not the first Monday in February, but the second Monday in February, the February 8th, because I actually had my stuff together enough to get that list together. So I think that's all I need to let you guys know. Without further ado, I will introduce our first playwright. We're only going to do 2 readings tonight because the scripts are just a little bit longer. So we didn't want to, pack it up with 3 and kind of go way over our normal time. So we decided to just do 2 scripts this evening. And the first of the 2 scripts will be Window Shopping, and that is by Gail Ife Young. I will introduce her. She'll tell you a little bit about why she wrote this play. She will introduce her cast to you, and then we'll get started on the first reading. So without further ado, the stage is yours, Ife.
Okay, thank you. And I want to say thank you to everyone that tuned in. And yes, this play is called Window Shopping. And I am a person that's had a lot of jobs from high school and continue. But this one is based basically on my first job after coming out of high school. I worked at a garment factory. It was horrendous. I won't mention the name. It was horrendous. And I also had worked at a couple of other factories that were like sweatshops. So I wanted to just sort of, put emphasis on that. But more than anything, I wanted to put emphasis on people who are poor and producers and working in manufacturing companies, and how oftentimes the very things that they manufacture or they make, they're unable to afford, so they sometimes, and just in this play, it explores how they feel about it, not being able to afford what they make. So, or they produce. And so I want to introduce my actors right now. A wonderful cast. We have Miss Tamika Scruggs, and she's going to play the character Anita. And we have Molly McFadden. She's going to play Sophie. We have Mr. Peter Lawson Jones as Mr. Sedgwick, the attorney. And we also have Agnes Herman, and she will be reading stage directions. So let's take it away.
Window shopping. At Rise, Thursday early afternoon, a jail in an affluent county. Anita and Sophie are sitting in chairs beside one another and across from Mr. Sedgwick, an attorney who looks uncomfortable behind a huge desk.
Tell me something. Why did they separate us when they claim we broke the law together?
I know why. Anita, they wanted us to snitch on each other.
Yeah, and see which one of us they could break down.
They just wanted to see if your stories matched up.
Well, I've got news for you, huh? Even Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John's stories, they didn't match up.
There's a proper way to question people, and that's all they set out to do. And you two are getting abrasive again. You know how hard it was to convince them to let me talk to you together as the prosecuting attorney? They were going to just throw you both in jail.
They can't do that. They didn't have any evidence on us.
That's not what they told me. And if you hadn't raised such hell in this place, I could have had lunch with my wife. But I sense some human decency in you. Now, I'm hoping you'll be truthful and quick so we can get this case moving forward.
We told you the truth the first time. But you know what they want? The lies. They just love the lies.
They want to hear us say we tried to steal the dresses and we didn't.
That's yet to be proven. Fortunately, the law gives everyone a chance to redeem themselves.
Everyone. Since when?
Okay, I admit there are some exceptions. And trust me, nothing bothers me more than to see people locked up when they're really innocent, especially when they're byproducts of poverty, which is what you two call yourselves.
We are the byproducts of poverty. Why would we lie about that?
Look, I'm not sitting in this room to hear alibis and excuses. I'm here to get to the truth.
How old are you? About 38?
I'm 40.
Same difference. I bet you had a nice life, didn't you? You think the world is full of only people who can pay their way? You have any cases with coworkers trapped on the same side of a lie? Well, me and Sophie, we tasted that lie. We peeled it back like an orange rind.
Yeah, and it didn't taste so good.
Look, I'm not interested in personal metaphors. Speak a language I understand.
Okay, understand this. I spent the last 5 years of my life sitting at an industrial sewing machine next to Sophie. We got treated like shit. All day long, we got hollered at by a miserable line leader who was bitter for letting herself get stuck in a factory with poor people who just fought with each other all day long about stupid stuff.
While the big oppressor was stepping on all of us.
With hobnailed shoes.
Mhm.
This is the setup, I presume?
This is the setup.
Okay, now give me the facts.
You really mean? Let's get on with the interrogation, don't ya?
All right, the interrogation.
You know, I've heard that in these rooms, people confess to guilt, even when they're totally innocent. Sometimes they get beat up until they say that they're guilty.
Look, I have a feeling if I let the two of you keep talking, we won't accomplish anything. Or maybe I should put you in different interrogation rooms like before. Bring the first lawyer back.
No problem. We just shut down again. Listen, what about all those obscure areas? How do we settle into those real truth when the law recognizes just guilty or not guilty? What's up with that?
I didn't make the laws.
Well, we want you to know that there are mitigating circumstances. What are you going to do? Just throw them out after they've trapped us most of our lives? Listen, what I'm saying is it's got
That
to.
you
it-
and
it's
your
got to.
buddy are innocent in spite of how it looks, because of your life stories.
So damn right. The law should go like this sometimes. Your Honor, we find the defendants lukewarm, settled somewhere in between the truth and a lie. I mean, why can't people be lukewarm?
Lukewarm sounds ridiculous.
Only because you haven't used it yet. But just think how much the young attorneys will look up to you when you do. Your name will go down in the law journals as a legal revolutionary.
You're asking me to use that term to change the law for you two?
Change the law, starting with us two.
Oh, yeah. I could put on brass knuckles and beat on the guilty and not guilty verdicts till those shades of gray show up. But no, ma'am, because this lawyer knows. I know the entities of the law are so huge and invincible that you don't even make a dent punching at them. And then you have to be very careful where you strike. You knock down the wrong foundation and everything else caves in. Ladies, it is what it is, and I don't want to get into this kind of talk. I do this with my constituents all day long, and believe me, I get tired of it. Everything becomes a hypothesis.
Me and Sophie are hypothesis now? Really? Look, we really weren't ourselves when we did what we did.
I would be disbarred if I walked into a courtroom saying my clients weren't themselves when they did what they did. And technically, that would be a case for the psychiatrist, not a jury.
Psychiatrist? You calling us crazy? You privileged black bourgeois blur, big to do, college grad, law degree, head up in the sky. Forget, you just forgot where you came from, Negro. I sure hope my kids don't end up like you.
That's all you got? Come on with it. I'm used to insults, Brooks. I don't feel guilty for trying to get into college rather than to a street gang. Listen, I don't plan to do this all night. Just give me the story from the beginning.
Okay. Okay, the very beginning, he says, and you are gonna get it. We got off work early, not because they wanted to do something nice for us. Hell no. It was because of a meeting for the big wigs. Probably how they could get more work out of us peons and give us less pay. Well, I said, one good thing about those meetings is we get to leave early.
And I said, they don't have those meetings enough though.
Yeah, and I said, true, but I'm going to enjoy this time away from my job anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody can get to us, not even our supervisor, Minnie Mouse, with her loud mouth screaming through the factory like a fucking siren.
And you know what I said? I said, I hope she's already gone through menopause, because if she hasn't, my God, we really in for it.
Okay, please spare me the small talk. I need to know how things took place.
Don't raise your voice at us. You said, start at the beginning. And that's what we did. It was about 1:30 and Anita said, let's take a ride. Well, we hopped into Anita's car, put on music, and we just rode. I felt, so free. I snapped my fingers to the music and I wobbled my head, kicked off my shoes off. It had been a long time since I snapped my fingers like that. And then I said, hey, open up the sunroof.
Well, I hardly ever opened up the sunroof. And I said, girl, are you sure?
I said, why not? Let's just have ourselves a real hanging out kind of day, huh? And we opened it. And the wind, it felt so cool on our heads, and I felt like a schoolgirl again. And Anita said, it won't be long before I have to testify for Darnell. And I said, did you really see them beat him up in his head? And she said, oh my God, I did. And that picture always plays over and over and over in my brain.
It does. See, our fabric cutter, my cousin Darnell, he was beaten to a pulp because he finally spoke up for himself because of the oppression and the crappy pay. He showed up back to work the next day. Can you believe? Nobody cared if he even came back, but he came back because he was poor and he had to feed his family. I told him to sue the pants off of that company. They had no right beating on him. And he came back to work the next day. He had no choice. A byproduct of poverty.
Look, let's stop right there. I need you to stick to the story. All this other stuff is not relevant.
No, it plays into the lie that they told us.
What lie? Who told you a lie?
We're leading up to that. Can you be patient?
What do you think I've already been? And this session isn't looking too good for the two of you. You know what it means when suspects beat around the bush as a rule, huh? It means 90% of the time they're guilty.
So You don't believe us, huh? Then what are you doing talking to us?
I didn't say I didn't believe you, but I don't have all day. And this story about someone getting beaten to a pulp and going right back to work, it maybe it's true, but just stick to the main story.
Anyway, sticking with the story, we kept riding. We got hungry, so we went to McDonald's. And then we ate and we laughed, we talked, and then we got back in the car. Then we drove around for a little while, and I said to Sophie, how about I pull into that little plaza over there?
And I said, go ahead. The plaza was exquisite. It looked like money. It felt good there. But I also felt like I didn't belong. And people were looking at us and at our car, and some women mumbled, low down black, filthy white trash.
Oh, come off of it. No, I don't believe that. I just don't.
Oh,
Well, things like that happen in our world, Mr. Textbook.
textbook. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it fits him.
Mhm.
You know what? Me and Sophie figured a long time that we were more of the same than different. You know, we were both from the wrong side of the tracks without a pot to piss in.
Or a window to throw it out. You get that? Well, I yelled, Anita, look at this crap. They're turning up their chins in our car.
And I said, let them. Old Emma, she gets us from point A to B, and she always cranks up. So I said, Sophie, when was the last time you window shopped?
I said, I don't know. I mean, that's like teasing myself with things I can't have.
And then I said, oh, well then come on, let's go. Let's just look. Let's see what the prom dresses look like since we have to make our daughters one.
And I said, to hell with what these stores sell. I'm gonna design her dress myself. But you know what my daughter said? It hurt me to my heart. Yeah, she said, I'm sick of homemade dresses while all the other girls' parents buy theirs. And maybe that's where me and Anita, we you know what, we went wrong. We put our kids in Thinkers Academy because we wanted this factory shit to end with us. But the schools, they leave us broke and they dry every month in borrowing. But anyway, me and Anita got out of the car and we walked around. And then we looked at the window of the bridal and the gown shop and I said, look, look, oh, a company, they made these dresses. And then I said, look at the goddamn prices.
Careful, or I'll change my perception of you.
Why would I care at this point? Why would you do that anyway? You don't know me from horse shit.
No, but you're throwing in that Friday night kind of talk I have over a beer. I can't take it into the courts. It's demeaning and actually it won't help your cases. Now, as an attorney, I'm expected to present concrete arguments. And trust me, I am doing the best I can in a world of Bibles and law journals. And sometimes I don't feel so good about being that powerless. Understand? Look, don't get me started. I am a lawyer and I can be loquacious. Now, give me the story without all this loose verbiage.
What law school did you go to?
What does it matter to you? Hey, don't pick up that ankle monitor.
Well, it is uncomfortable. I thought you wore ankle bracelets when the courts, they sent you home.
Every county operates differently.
Well, I have a circulation problem in my ankle. It's already swelling.
I bet you could have them take it off. Mine's too. Only if you wanted to. You know, She could pass a clot and then it could go to her heart.
Oh my God. Look, she's going to keep it on until she's cleared.
It's not like she's going to break down the cell if they don't take it off.
We're in a city that makes its own rules. You could do that when you have half the millionaires in the state housed there and they like ankle bracelets.
Oh, you can take it off.
They have me arrested. Now, take a deep breath and talk to me. I need to hear the full story and leave out the rhetoric.
We're not sure what you call rhetoric. Look, we don't see things the same way. You got that? You know what? This is a waste of time.
Yeah. You'll never understand us. Well, listen. I never did ask for things to be the way they were for me, okay? A lot of people where we work didn't even graduate high school. We only made a little better than minimum wages. And then Minnie the Mouse calls us lazy and losers. And sometimes they cheat us when we make more than our quota.
A big company cheating struggling people. That's low. And really, the supervisors beat my cousin over the head and he bled all over the shop. Then they told us we didn't see a thing lest we wanted to go job hunting.
You know, it really would be nice if the two of you stop prolonging this. Please do that for me.
We're just painting the sweatshop picture for you. We figure you never been in one. But you know why I wanted to go window shopping? To escape. My grandparents raised me doing that. But I'd rather not mention my parents if that's okay.
If it's not going to help your case, then let's just move on.
But they are mitigating factors. Don't you understand?
There's that word, mitigating again.
I'm letting you know what's going on. Things go deeper than the eye can see textbook.
Yeah, like I don't know that. Well, carry on with the story, please.
Well, my grandmother, she wanted to inspire us all to be the best. So she would just take my sisters, myself, and my brother for bus rides. And sometimes we go into the wealthy people's neighborhoods. The bushes were trimmed to perfection and no boarded up windows. The lawns were green. So this is one of those neighborhoods.
That it is. So I suppose you enjoyed those neighborhoods?
Not really. Because we would look at things in the window and we say we're going to buy this and then we're going to buy that. And we never did. Hell, it was just all dream talk. Window shopping is always just dream shopping for poor people. Whenever me and my sisters and my brother got back to the apartment, that front door was shut. Bang! And then I just watched Grandpa come in with those fishing rods and those ugly sheep heads he couldn't sell. I just feel locked up in a poor world.
So window shopping wasn't a good thing for you?
It seemed like punishment for being poor. It was like being thirsty for a drink, but you couldn't remove the bottle cap.
So Grandma meant well and thought that she would inspire you when, in fact, it was quite damaging to your psyche.
Very. It didn't inspire me to go further than 1 quarter at SEC. That's a junior college.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. And what about you, Sophie?
Textbooks never fazed me. I quit reading them after I graduated high school. And I come from a long line of seamstresses. You ever heard about the fire at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory?
Yeah, what about it?
123 poor immigrant women died because the factory didn't want them to own a garment that they made. They didn't pay them enough to buy one back then, and they made sure that they couldn't steal one. And I brought that up for a reason, textbook. I want you to know that not much, not much has changed.
Go on with the story, Sandoval.
All right. Daryl had just finished the BA in education. He said he was going to be an English teacher. Oh, Daryl. Oh, by the way, he's my husband. Well, he hadn't found a job anyway, and he went scrapping with Jay.
Jay was my husband. He disappeared off the face of the earth. He was in the news and everything about 5 years ago. I think he saw something he wasn't supposed to see when he was the courier. And I believe that company was the mafia, and Jay knew something.
I remember that case about your husband. But of all the women in the world, it had to be your husband.
You got a problem with that?
It's just bizarre, that's all. Okay, let's move on. You said something about scrapping.
I said something about scrapping.
Fighting, right?
It's when you've been hanging in the streets. You've been hanging in the streets, textbook.
Stop with the name calling. I am Mr. Sedgwick. And no, I haven't been hanging in the streets.
I don't know about that. You do know that term. Well, anyway, the scrapping I was talking about is when you go picking things up off the curb to sell, like stainless steel and copper, if you can find them.
I guess you wouldn't know anything about that, huh? Look at him in his expensive suit. His tie probably costs more than all the clothes that I'm wearing.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response.
You don't have to. We know the score, huh? Well, anyway, Daryl and Jay, they tried to haul away a cast iron tub by themselves. And afterwards, Daryl couldn't stand up straight. And his back, it was gone. And he gets compensation now, but it wasn't enough. And that's when I went to work in the damn sweatshop, just like the other women in my family.
We started on the same day. It was horrible in that place. But I remember reading about the garment industry in other countries like Cambodia. Those women, they barely made $3 a day. Sometimes they gave birth in the field and then they went right back to work, took the babies with them. Oh yeah, textbook. There's a lot of poor people in the world, but poor people like them, they only live in those kind of countries, right?
Right.
Wrong textbook. Just because you don't hear about the suffering don't mean it's not going on. So moving on, we get some time out of the sweatshop and look, come on, we see these dresses that were made at our factory in the window. And oh my God, we were so excited. So we go inside and we tell the sales lady we're looking for dresses in a size 7. And she says, just a minute. And she never comes back.
I looked around and I said, look, they even have the latest styles that our company made. Then we looked at the prices and they blew our minds. We made dresses that sold for $2,500 and we didn't even know it. That was a secret. We didn't even know if we should feel proud or ashamed of ourselves. Damn, we sure didn't get paid much to make those expensive dresses.
So $2,500 was expensive for those kinds of dresses?
Damn right. And before then, I never even touched a $2,500 dress.
We knew right then and there that somebody was making a huge profit off of poor people's sweat and labor, and it damn sure wasn't us.
Look, I'm listening. What happened in the store?
Well, 4 women, they pulled up in separate cars in the parking lot, and we saw them when they got out. They drove a Porsche and a Jaguar, and they must have come from a meeting or something, and they looked like money. That clothes were finely made.
And we know well-made clothes when we see them. We were standing at the door, and the women expected us to open up the door for them. Well, hell no. They already had the best end of the deal by being able to buy clothes in that shop. Finally, they opened opened the door and came strolling in, rolling their eyes at us. Now that took the cake. Then they went right to the dresses that our company made.
Said she was going to send a dress to her niece for prom. Really? And we couldn't even buy our daughters one of those dresses for their prom. And well, they each picked out a dress and they whipped out their credit cards and they brought the dresses right in front of us. Then one of them stepped on Anita's foot and she didn't even say sorry. And what she want to do that for?
I lit into her ass like lightning on a crane. I said, hey, bitch. Yeah, I mean you. You stepped on my fucking foot. Excuse yourself. You hear me, bitch? Say excuse me.
Rough language again. I don't know about you two. Anyway, so what did the woman say?
Not a damn thing. They all started laughing at us, and one of them said we smelled like fast food.
Lucky guess, I suppose.
Had to be. But I said to them, laugh if you want to, but our company made those dresses you just bought. Then one of them said, surely you jest. You probably can't even afford to buy one. Then they laughed harder.
And we shut down. I mean, we looked at the expensive clothes that they were wearing, and we looked at ours. And, oh my God, I felt so ashamed of myself. And they stood there laughing at us with our dresses in their bags and their boxes.
I said, how the hell you like that, Sophie? Those snobs got our dresses. Tears just rolled down my eyes. And I said, who did we make those dresses for, Sophie? Tell me that. Did we suffer in that shop for those women to look down on us? Sophie just took a tissue out of her purse and she just cried real hard.
And I said, well, we obviously didn't make the dresses for ourselves. And to think we would be so proud in the shop whenever we turned out a dress. We never thought about whose closet they would hang in.
Never. And we worked so hard to make those deadlines. We got into our houses and we climbed into our beds, and those kids better not wake us up. But here, those snobby-nosed women dressed in Coco Chanel and Gucci and Calvin Klein and you name it. They were walking away with our dresses. That didn't sit right with us.
That's just how manufacturing operates. They were never your dresses. You got paid to make them.
But not paid enough to own one?
It
But
wasn't fair.
dresses were made to go on the market somewhere. That's the way it works. Exchange. You give the labor, they give the pay.
But we couldn't even afford to buy one.
That's just how it is sometimes. Sorry for you, yippee for them. And I'm sure some seamstress in that factory owned a dress or two.
I doubt it. This is about me and Sophie. Those snobby women took our dresses home while looking down on us. They would admire them and show them off from our company's workmanship. Then they talk about me and Sophie to their friends and laugh at us with our dresses in their closets.
Those weren't your dresses.
They were ours, then theirs. We should have won. The factory, they could have gave us one free or gave us at least, I don't know, a 75% discount or something. But they didn't, and it pissed me off. And I said, Anita, I can't take this. I'm going to the car. And look, mister, I really need you to get this thing off my ankle. Come on, it is swelling. I got poor circulation, and everybody knows that about me. I mean, they even let me get up and stretch my legs in the sweatshop.
Would you just take the damn thing off her ankle?
Well, I'm not going to do that because I can't. Now, sit down.
Listen, if her blood pools and causes a clot, she's showing every damn body in this place.
What does he care? Yeah, I need a smoke.
Well, you ought to look there too. No smoking.
You know what? Talk to me in a decent tone, textbook. And you can get me a cigarette. I know you can, and I am not choicy. I will even take a Camel.
Well, you don't get a Camel. I suppose today is just not your day.
Yeah? I bet that's how it's going to be in court too. Today, it is not your day.
Wait. Actually, today is not my day because I'm taking a beating from you two. If you hadn't trashed this police department, I wouldn't have had to even come.
We didn't trash it. We just knocked everything off the desk. That would-be lawyer, they tried to talk down to us like dirt, just like those women did.
And I just forgot to say the protocol. So you read us the damn rights and you, oh yeah, you get us a real lawyer.
We weren't up for their bullshit.
Mm.
And they start whispering and plotting against us. All this trouble because we just wanted to go window shopping.
If you had just gone window shopping, you wouldn't have gotten into trouble.
Oh, really? Oh, and if our company hadn't made those dresses, they wouldn't have been in the windows.
We had a right to own a dress.
Yeah, if you had paid for one.
The way we worked, we paid for 20. How much you think our people earned in slavery? You think they were supposed to pay for a piece of fabric after having to make it for free? I'm talking about the fabric made from the cotton they picked. Get the fuck out. When it boils down to it, we only made a few pennies more than free labor. We deserved a dress if we had paid for one. Don't get me started. Anyway, Sophie went to the car.
I ran to the car. I couldn't take it anymore. I was getting nauseous, but I should have puked on the shop's floor like it was puking on my life.
Sophie left and I stayed inside. I took pictures of the dresses we liked. There was a yellow one and a mauve one. We were going to make our daughter something similar to that. Speaking of my daughter, I need to call her. Please find out where they put my phone. It's a little raggedy, but it still works.
I'm sure it's in a safe place.
No, I need to call my grandmother. She's in her 80s. And I need to call other people too. I don't memorize numbers since cell phones. And my charger is in Emma. And I'm worried about Emma.
Your car, right?
Yes, but she's more than a car. She's a true friend.
I should have known. Okay, I'll check on it, Emma, and I'll find a charger for your phone. Now, what else happened?
Well, I kept looking through the dresses on the rack, and then I saw the very dress that we made on our line. I recognized my stitching. You see, I have this certain stitch around the zipper that I do. And then I took the dress off the rack, and then I ran to the door and I yelled, Sophie, 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 come here quick. Then I held the dress up so she could see it.
And I said, what? Hell no, I don't believe this. Bad enough to see dresses the company made, but what we made personally? Oh, that was just too much. So I got out of the car and I ran up to the door where Anita was standing. I took the dress and I crossed into a sunny spot.
They pace and position their arms as though they are holding the dress.
The sun faded and I moved to another spot, and we were outside the door just looking at the dress under the sun, and it had a price tag of $2,800.
Ladies, the rules are you must sit down. I keep telling you that, and they have
We're-
cameras on you.
We're just showing you how we paced. We weren't stealing anything. It's a mitigating factor.
Well, you don't have to demonstrate anything. And I've already allowed you to take the story around the block and back again. You know, this session is really going down a path all its own. Please just stay in your seats.
Oh, you lawyers are so full of it. There's things that the law can't weigh up. But you know what? Who cares about us anyway?
They take their seats.
You know what? I'm not responding to that. Now, this is important. Did you take the dress outside in any kind of sneaky way? I mean, did you step out of the scope of the camera intentionally?
Well, gee, if I was going to steal the dress, I would have. We're not professional shoplifters, but what dummy is going to stand in front of the camera on purpose while they're stealing? Here's what I did, textbook. I just took the dress outside the door to show Sophie. I wasn't thinking about a camera.
Right. And you know what we did right then and there? Me and Anita, we came to terms with what we were. We were equal to the seamstresses in India, Cambodia. We were all the have-nots of our country. And in front of that bridal shop, we peeled away the lie that we had been living inside for so long, that third world was in another land. And you know what? It's here too.
So the lie was actually the truth.
You're catching on, textbook. And we turned to take the dress back in, but the women that had stepped on Anita's foot, they started yelling thief and signals for the security guard. And next thing we know, we're in handcuffs and 100 police cars. Oh, they're circling around us.
And they're shouting. They took our bags and my phone. Those women were laughing at us and telling the police that we said we made the dress. The sales clerks start laughing at us, calling us crazy. So did the people passing by. They were all laughing at us. Then those snooty women got into their cars and drove away with our dresses.
One more time. The dresses did not belong to you. So you were caught taking the dress back in. The video will tell the truth when we review it. But you can't take merchandise out of a store like that, not even to show it to a friend. Don't you think you should have held yourself to a little higher standard?
What do you mean a higher standard? I was a poor woman looking at a dress that I helped make, but couldn't afford to buy, you fool. My standards flew out the window. Oh, but what do you know? You probably go home in a suburb to a professional wife and a pedicure dog. You can spend $60 a night at a neighborhood bar and not mess a penny, huh? We go out partying, we borrowing money just to get through the week. What about you? You borrow money to make it through the week? Do you borrow money?
And what if I don't? Doesn't mean that I've got it so damn good. You know what? This is a damn workout session with the two of you, really. Look, yeah, I do live a better life. Not an easy life. And I do have a dog that gets pedicures and a a wife who's a pediatrician, but I really do care deeply about people. And I hate that your uncle got beat up.
My cousin. My cousin.
Your cousin. Daddy went right back to work the next day. But I can't present those things as evidence in the courtroom.
Of course not. But you would if we had money, right? The courts changed the law for people with money. Wealthy people shoplifting and get an excuse from their doctor saying they're sick, right? You know I'm telling the truth.
Attorney Sedgwick puts his hand in his hands a while.
Hey, don't you feel well? Hey, talk to us.
Maybe he can't talk. Maybe all he can do is scream. He does a real good job of that. And you know what? I don't trust you. I do not think you are on our side. I don't think we should tell him anything else, Anita.
Miss Brooks, Mrs. Sandoval, I don't live your lives, but I have a story too. My father was in aeronautics. My mother was a biology professor. My parents just happened to be luckier. Not smarter, not better, just luckier. They squeezed between the cracks and got past the gates. One of my siblings is a doctor and the other one's campaigning for senator. Yeah, we escaped, while 98% of us didn't. And I confess that I used to be one of those who stood on the sidelines and pointed my finger at how poor people lived. And I felt like I was better. For years, I felt that way. And I learned my family history. My great-great-grandparents were burned out of their house for owning a store. They say an uncle of mine was hanged for a crime he didn't commit. My great-great-great-grandparents were sold away from each other in slavery. Oh, I understand what my people went through for hundreds of years, all right? But I have to keep my mind on this job or I lose everything I've worked hard for. So please stop calling me Mr. Textbook, like I'm some privileged person and my family's life was so far removed from yours. You know, I get stomped on too. And yeah, I can see how there could be a sinister side to window shopping, but I'm hired to get to the truth. But I agree, you women should have been able to afford the very dress you made.
That's the point that we're trying to get across.
I always understood that. But I have to work within the confines of the law. Interrogating is my job, but lately it's been like I'm becoming my job, and that's not who I was. But the job pays my bills, and some nights I meet my peers at clubs and I get pissy drunk because I don't feel very good about my situation. My buddies throw me in the car and drive me home. I'm sorry for having to interrogate the two of you because you've already been traumatized enough. I know that. I am on your side. I'm trying hard to get my own practice so I can feel good about what I do. I wish I could quit right now, but I can't walk away when I have so many responsibilities and a sick mother who's depending on me. So I search in the dark for my career every day, determined not to be pushed out of the game. That can happen easily to Black lawyers, and I'm forever dodging the blows of a system much bigger than me, just like you two. But the minute I cave in, I lose my sense of self. Yep. Guess I might have mitigating circumstances, just like the two of you.
They just stare at one another a few seconds.
You know something? These institutions tower over all of us. But the truth is we can't change them if we let them kill our spirits, even if we have to change them one tiny brick at a time. Well, look, I can't do anything for the two of you until Monday, and I know it's your life, Brooks and Sandoval, but if I were you, I would probably give up window shopping for a while. Look, I got to get out of here. I'll try to get this case thrown out if the surveillance video shows you were telling the truth. I want you ladies to be strong, be brave, and most of all, behave yourselves.
Please charge my phone. I needed to call around. Well, we may as well just chill, Sophie.
Yeah, looks like we're gonna find out what prison food tastes like.
I'm sorry about that.
Hmm.
Hey, ladies, thank you for showing me what I was becoming. I was losing something quite valuable myself. But you put me back on track, and for that, I appreciate you. Now, can you promise me you won't be struggling and fighting with the guards? That's not going to help your case. I got to go, but I'll see you soon.
Attorney exits. Sophie and Anita go into their separate cells. Lights fade, then up again. Tuesday, the following week, Anita is sitting on a bench in the corridor talking on the telephone. Sophie is kicking a vending machine that has cheated her.
Oh no, honey. Oh, nothing like that. I said I'm fine. I'll be home soon. Yes, it's not even going to court. The video cleared us. What? UPS? A gown? For you? Tiffany got one too? Anonymous? What colors were they? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh no. We picked out gowns in those colors.
Silence for a few minutes as she looks through her phone. Her name is called through the intercom. Anita Brooks.
No. Okay, I have to go, honey. I'll be home soon.
She hangs up and is still very still as she speaks softly to herself.
Mr. Sedgwick. Oh, you didn't have to do that. Sophie, where are you? Oh, you're not even going to believe what just happened.
Lights fade to black, the end.
Yay! Thank you all. Let me start my video. Sorry, here I am. Thank you, Tamika and Molly and Peter. Thank you, Ife, for that reading. It was definitely a longer script. So thank you guys for bearing with us tonight. Both of the scripts tonight are a little bit longer than what we're normally used to. But a lot of really important things happening in this play. Talking about some really very important topics that are very timely with what's going on with the world. So theater has always been a very useful outlet to talk about, topics that are happening in the now and things that we want to, discuss as a society, as a community. So it's really good to see you, Ife, really attempting to talk about what it sounded like were also too something that you had a personal story related to. And so really getting a chance to share that with our audiences. I don't know if you actors or Ife wanted to say anything before we move on to the next script for this evening. But again, thank you so much.
I just want to,
Molly, go ahead, Ife.
yeah, I just want to say thank you, everyone. And I enjoyed it. It's good to hear your story back. And if anyone has any questions or any comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat. Thank you so much.
Yes, if you all, audience, wonderful opportunity for her to hear what you guys think. These are plays that are in the making, some are finished, some will get rewrites, all kinds of wonderful things. That's the one thing I do love about Stage Rights, is that it's this great group of people who work together on each other's work and are really open to feedback and all of the wonderful things that we as audiences and as fellow playwrights experience listening to their work. And of course, too, feel free to leave us at Ensemble feedback, and we'll be happy to share that with the playwrights as well. So to wrap up this evening, we have one more script that we will be reading, and I will introduce Boxed In, which is written by Ed Walsh. He has been a member. Ife is one of the newer members. I think Ife, I'm not sure how long you've been part of Stage Rights, but you're relatively a newer playwright. Ed's been around for quite some time, so it's really great to that there's this combination of people who have been around Stage Rights for quite some time, and then new writers that come in, and that they still develop this wonderful community of writers. So Ed's been around Stage Rights for quite some time. We've done a couple actually of his short plays in our actual New Plays Festival when we could do theater in person. And we've actually done one or two of his short plays in this series as well. So I will introduce Ed, and then Ed will introduce you to his actors. So without further ado, the stage is yours, Ed Walsh. And I think you're muted, Rannigan, so you might
Yes.
want to, there you go, I can hear you. You're good.
Good. Now you hear my voice. Good.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I have been around for a long time, a very long time, but I'm still kicking, kind of. At any rate, this particular play involves a couple of things that I've just noticed in, traveling through my lifetime. There are people who actually live in boxes, and I assume they take an empty box that they find and they make that a home. And there are other people who usually drive to work, but sometimes take the bus. Maybe the car's in for some work. Well, I've taken those two elements and combined them into something called Boxed In, where a gentleman who is on his way to work in the morning sits down at the bus stop very near a box. And I'm going to let the person who is reading the stage directions, Rannigan Walsh, who's been rehearsed thoroughly, introduce this play.
Boxed In, a short play in one act by Edward J. Walsh.
And then Rannigan, if you want to introduce your cast.
Boxed In, characters. Darwin Wagonseller, an attorney in his 30s, played by Ben Gregg.
Great.
Box, a cardboard box inhabited by a voice, age undetermined, played by Paul Slimak. And stage directions by Rannigan Walsh. Setting, a bench at a bus stop on a suburban street. Time, the present. Act 1, Scene 1. At Rise, Darwin, wearing suit and tie, enters, briefcase in hand. He sits on a bench and removes newspaper from briefcase. A bus stop sign is posted nearby. A large cardboard box, which might have once contained a refrigerator or a washer or some big piece of equipment, sits silently behind and to the side of the bench. Darwin concentrates on reading his newspaper when a voice calls from the box.
Mister? Hey, mister? Psst, mister, over here.
What's the matter?
Don't call me mister.
Why not?
Because you know my name.
I forgot your name.
The name is Darwin. Darwin Wagonseller.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Darwin Wagonseller. That's quite a mouthful.
Don't bother me.
Why? Something interesting in your newspaper?
I know what you want.
What? What do you think I want?
You want $1.
Not so. Not at all.
I'm not giving you $1.
Did I ask for $1? Did I?
No, but you will. You ask every time I take the bus.
Shows how wrong you can be.
Well, what do you want?
How about $1 and some change?
I'm not giving you $1 and I don't have any change.
So how about $2? Make it even.
I'm not giving you $1. I'm not giving you any change. I'm not giving you $2. I'm not giving you anything.
You used to be a little more generous.
You used to be a lot less annoying.
Well, I'm not asking you for anything anymore.
Good. I'm done. That's it. No more, never again.
You're kind of repetitious.
Just so you get the point.
Who got up on the wrong side of the bed this morning?
At least I have a bed.
You get snake bit every time you have to take the bus.
And you get more annoying.
Your wife has the car?
She's headed downstate to visit her sister for a couple days.
So you're waiting for the bus?
I'm not waiting here for a 747, am I?
If you were a two-car family.
This isn't going to happen until things settle down at the office.
Job up in the air, is it?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Times like these, you never know.
Don't you have somewhere to go, something to do?
I'm doing something. I'm talking to you.
Well, I'm done talking to you.
You'll be on your own then? For a couple of days? More than a couple of days? A week?
Just till she gets back.
From visiting with her sister.
Yes.
Things okay at home?
You always think the worst.
How about the kid? Did she take the kid?
No, he's at home. Clara's babysitting.
Clara?
This Latino lady, she's from Honduras or someplace like that.
You don't know where she's from?
It's one of those countries somewhere between Mexico and South America. The little ones, I can't keep them straight.
You ought to know where she's from. Didn't you do a background check?
I didn't find her. My wife did.
Your wife found this woman, and all you know is her name and that she comes from somewhere between Mexico and South America?
Well, yes.
And she's taking care of your kid?
Just during the day, unless I decide to go out one night or another.
So, where would you go?
Out. Just out.
You know where I'd go?
I don't care where you'd go.
I'd go ballroom dancing.
Well, you need a partner for ballroom dancing. Who'd dance with you?
Women are always looking for partners. You'd know that if you ever went ballroom dancing. One of the first things you notice is how many women dance together because there are not enough men to go around.
Well, I've never been ballroom dancing. I have no idea how you do it.
You could learn.
I don't care to learn.
The places that teach it could find you a partner.
I'm not interested.
Bet I know where you'll go if you go out.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Tell me where I'll go if I go out.
You'll go to a bar.
Well, yes, I most likely will go to a bar if I go out.
That's what you always do when you go out by yourself, isn't it?
Not always.
Where else do you ever go?
Well, how about the time I went night fishing, with some of the guys from the office?
You said the coolers were packed with beer.
I had 2 beers. Well, maybe 3.
Aren't you forgetting the 2/5 of Johnny Walker stashed in the captain's cabin?
Yes, I had my share of that.
And then some, from what I hear.
It's not like I go out to get loaded.
Why do you go out?
Well, conviviality. People to talk to and laugh with. Conviviality.
Not to get lucky?
I don't go out to get lucky, ever.
Doesn't mean you're not hoping.
You know, you're an impertinent son of a gun.
How can a guy go out to a bar by himself and never hope to get lucky?
That's not why I go out.
It's a rhetorical question, not specifically aimed at you.
Well, if not me, then who?
Don't you mean whom?
It's who, not whom. And who the hell cares? Why don't you go get breakfast or something and get out of here?
I would, but I don't have any money.
Darwin stands reaching for his billfold and takes out cash.
Here, take this $5 and vanish. Take it.
I told you I wouldn't ask for anything anymore.
You didn't ask, I'm offering it to you.
Darwin withdraws another bill.
Here's another $5. Go get the big breakfast. Eggs, bacon, sausage, pancakes, hash browns, juice, and coffee. Load up. Just take the money.
It's tempting, but no.
Darwin stuffs two $5 bills back into his pants pocket.
That's it. That's it. I've got nothing more to say to you.
Darwin sits down and reads the newspaper.
I saw that guy Chatwell here last week.
Chatworth. His name is Chatworth.
He sat right there where you're sitting.
That's so.
Maybe his wife was visiting her sister.
Not likely. He isn't married.
Oh, could be his car was in for repairs.
Wouldn't know.
You two work for the same company, don't you?
Firm. It's a law firm, not a company.
He could have called to give you a ride to the office.
Could have, but he didn't.
Or you could have called him for a ride.
Could have, but I didn't.
For a young guy, he has a certain presence, you know? Carries himself well, as they say. Doesn't walk around slope-shouldered.
Are you insinuating something?
Just giving you my impression of Chatwell is all.
Chatworth.
He was on his cell phone nonstop the whole time he sat right there where you're sitting.
Living up to his name, Chatworth.
Hey, that's pretty good. You do have a sense of humor.
Will he say anything interesting?
About what?
About anything.
He spoke to several people.
Did he say anything about the Carolyn Pizzuto case?
Pizzuto. Matter of fact, he talked to someone I thought was named Rizzuto, like Phil Rizzuto, the old Yankee shortstop. But I'll bet it was Pizzuto, not Rizzuto.
So he talked to Pizzuto.
Yes, Carolyn Pizzuto, not Rizzuto. Then he mentioned her name to somebody else.
Who's the somebody else Chatworth talked to?
Let me think a second.
Okay, what about Arjanian? Ken Arjanian?
That's it, Arjanian. That's the person he talked to after talking to Carolyn Rizzuto. I mean, Pizzuto.
Oh, hell, I wonder if he brought Arjanian around.
Around to what?
To testifying on behalf of Pizzuto.
Couldn't say.
He's only been on it 6 weeks.
Who's been on what for 6 weeks?
Chatworth. He's only been on the Pizzuto case for 6 weeks.
So
I had it for 6 months.
Had it?
The firm turned it over to Chatworth 6 weeks ago.
No love lost between you two, huh?
No love lost. Where the hell is that bus?
Why didn't you have your wife drop you off at the firm?
She left last night.
Too bad you and Chatworth aren't on better terms.
Chatworth and I stay out of each other's way. That is, unless we're working on something for the firm that requires cooperation.
But you're not working on Pizzuto together.
No, he's got the case now.
Maybe you ought to go out tonight.
No, I probably drink too much.
You might get lucky.
If I got drunk, I'd start phoning. I always do that when I've had too much to drink.
Phoning your wife?
Well, who else?
Got something you'd like to say to her?
You ask a hell of a lot of questions.
I admit it. I do.
Personal questions.
I find that asking questions is a good starting point for helping people solve their personal problems.
Helping people solve their problems. Why don't you go ahead and solve your own problems? Why don't you try doing that?
What problems are you talking about?
Well, for starters, you live in a box. I mean, nobody lives in a box.
I do.
That's the point. People don't live in cardboard boxes. Not if they have anything going for them. I mean, how can you live the way that you do? I mean, I'd kill myself if I had to live the way that you live.
How?
How what?
How would you go about killing yourself?
I'd take blankets and duct tape and seal up all the openings in our 2-car garage. I'd be especially careful where the garage door meets the floor, around the windows. Then I'd turn on the ignition, turn on the classical music station, just put my head back and wait.
And your wife would find you in that car with the engine running, the music playing, and your head back.
Yes.
It all seems very well thought out.
Yes,
She'd be deeply moved,
I'm sure.
grief-stricken,
Of course.
but she'd have to go on
Without me.
without you.
Uh-huh.
How sad.
And you?
And me, what?
Well, how would you do it?
Do what?
Kill yourself.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Come on. Living life like you do, I mean, you must think of it.
Never.
I know you don't have the same means at your disposal as I do. No car, no home, no attached 2-car garage. So maybe you'd choose to leap off of a bridge or find a nice sturdy piece of rope to hang yourself in some abandoned building. I mean, something simple, inexpensive, but effective.
I enjoy life far too much to end it. As for my home, if I should lose this box or another, I could always find a replacement. Good boxes are easy to find if you know where to look.
Well, you won't be having a home here much longer.
Why not?
Well, City Council is taking measures to get your kind off the streets. You're considered a nuisance, a vagrant.
I'm not worried
Why not?
because I plan to move on.
Where to? Down the street and around the corner into the alley?
No, I'm collecting travel brochures. I'm thinking of hitchhiking to Big Sur, or maybe head south to the Carolinas.
Well, you'll need money for food, for incidentals. How will you get it?
I'll panhandle, maybe get part-time work along the way, pick fruit, work in a car wash, that kind of thing.
There's no telling what you might run into on the road. I mean, people who might steal from you or kick the hell out of you or even kill you just to watch you die.
Those are the same people I'm liable to run into right here.
Have you ever been to Big Sur?
No, but I've always wanted to go.
It's beautiful there.
You've been?
Gwen and I, we drove it when we first married.
That's your wife's name? Gwen?
Gwen. Why?
Nothing.
Why?
Chatworth talked on his cell phone to someone I thought was named Glenn, but it could have been Gwen.
What did he say?
He said he would see Glenn there.
Where?
Darwin takes out cell phone, dials.
There. He said, Glenn, I'll see you there.
He said Glenn, not Gwen.
Rizzuto, Pizzuto, Glenn, Gwen. I've got a bit of a hearing deficiency. It's hard to differentiate sometimes.
And he didn't say where.
No, just there.
Darwin listens, quick dials his cell phone, shuts cell phone off.
That was Chatworth's office phone I called. His message says he's taking a few days away. Huh.
Chatworth is?
Yeah, the next several days.
Where's he going?
He didn't say.
You seem, well, troubled.
Yeah, well, Gwen and Chatworth, they pretty much hit it off.
But you don't see him socially.
Not since last year's Christmas party.
Something happened?
Something happened.
Why don't you come on in and we'll talk about it?
In there?
Sure, there's room enough. My place used to house one of those humongous washer-dryer combos.
You sure you wouldn't mind?
Not at all.
Well,
Come on in.
I mean, if it isn't any inconvenience.
Hey, I think your bus is near.
Is it?
Be here any minute.
Darwin hesitates, looks back toward oncoming bus.
Nah, I'm gonna take the day off.
Like I said, come on in.
Darwin leaves, briefcase, cell phone on bench, drops to all fours.
It looks pretty nice in here.
Darwin crawls closer to the box.
Just watch your head.
Say, what's your name anyway?
Why, I thought you knew. It's Darwin. Darwin Wagon Seller, just like yours.
Blackout.
We can see Paul.
Nice job, Ed and Reenigan.
Now, did we show Paul? I mean,
I'm here.
There he is. There's Paul. And the box.
Hello, Paul.
We were following.
Sit there.
Thank you guys. That was great. So two really interesting pieces this evening with some really very powerful messages and some interesting topics. My playwriting professor always said, you know, drama is conflict in the mind of the audience. So picking really good, you know, topics to talk about, you know, I mean, labor practices, you know, work, Buxton. What I noticed too a lot about these two plays, their names of the scripts versus the kind of underlying story that was going on reflect a lot about, you know, what story is being told, you know, window shopping, and how a lot of playwrights do subtly get that name into the part of the dialogue, you know, but how the script's title talks a little bit about too what the underlying messages of the play are. So boxed in terms of just the literal box, but the actual metaphorical box, and then also window shopping, you know, the ideas that kind of permeate both of these stories that got told tonight. Thank you to Ben, Greg. I haven't seen you in forever. How are you doing? I miss you guys.
Hanging in there.
Right, and Paul and Paul, I see you all the time. I do miss you, but yes, I've seen Paul. So it's really great to have two wonderful local Cleveland people, and a wonderful cast for Ife's reading as well. Cleveland is so, you know, populated with such an amazing, rich, what is it? I think of like a painter's platform of artists. So we have such a great group of actors to pull from in this community. I can't say enough positive things about all of the people who are involved tonight. And in the last, 8 short evenings that we've had, we have just such a wonderful array of talent. Just a few things. Love the humor, a box gathering brochures. Your humor, Ed, is quite sublime in the meaning underneath the surface, which I just mentioned too. So Molly and I were feeling the same thing. Paul and Benjamin, you are both doing wonderfully. Delightful dialogue, always from Ed. Oh, thank you, Peter, Molly, and Anita. You did a wonderful job. This was from the first reading. Thank you, Agnes. Very good, Ed. I loved it. It tells so much about people from Ife. So playwrights telling each other some wonderful things. I didn't get a chance to mention, I told Peter that I would plug. If you guys get a chance on Wednesday night to watch Chicago Fire, Peter, who read in our first script, is got a guest starring role. So people, you know, getting out there into the film world right now. I do hear that, you know, that's, I was talking to somebody about how, you know, a lot of theater people can't work right now. So the film industry is trying to help, you know, in some ways, since we can't meet in the theater as we normally would for a theater production, the film industry is stepping in to try to help a lot of actors who are not getting full-time employment right now. So that's a wonderful thing to see. Peter's going to be doing Chicago Fire on Wednesday at 9:00 on NBC. And so I did want to share that. He shared it with the chat as well. I also shared just at the very beginning for all of the audience that's here tonight, the link to our website that's dedicated just to these 10-minute readings that of course we do every other Monday. And we will update that, of course, to let you know what the next group of readings will be. We have been staying local. So all of the playwrights are our local stage rights unit. We did get sent a bunch of scripts from all over the country. So there's a possibility that we might extend out beyond our local, but we're not sure about that yet. So stay tuned. I did want to give a quick update on what our scripts will be for February 8th. We will be doing 8 Bridge by Ed, who you just saw, Ed Walsh. A Cat's Eye Sees All by Bernice Kleiman, and Cyrene Peach by Josh Mendel. And those are all a little bit shorter. So those are all 10-minute plays that we'll be doing on February the 8th, which is kind of where this playwriting kind of forum every Monday came out of. And so once in a while, we do a little bit longer of a script. So thank you guys for joining us tonight for our little bit longer than normal session of Zoom. Once again, I can't thank all the actors and the playwrights enough for letting Ensemble be a part of their creative process as well. So thank you guys for joining us. Just a few things on the Facebook live stream too, because I didn't get a chance to share those. So wonderful seeing the talent on so many levels. Incredible writing and acting in both. From one of our many theater, somebody who attended Ensemble quite a bit when we were in person. Nice job, Ben, Paul, and Ed from Skip. Great job, Ife from Gene Madison. Ed, sneaky good. We've all got a box, don't we? That's a nice one. Loved it, Ed. I took the rapid transit, so I missed the box. But that was a real, loved it, Ed. I only took the rapid transit, so I missed the box. That must be an inside comment. I don't know exactly what that means, but, and Skip giving Peter a shout out for his role in Chicago Fire. Thank you guys again so much for joining us. Thank you, actors. Thank you, playwrights. I hope everybody is taking some time to, you know, really give themselves some love in this crazy time as we navigate this crazy world and the pandemic that we're all going through. Please join us again, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday, February 8th. And we will be reading 3 more local scripts by local playwrights. Feel free to share any feedback you guys have. Either email us at the theater. You can check our website. There's a link to an email address that if you want to send any feedback after. And then one last thing, if you haven't gotten a chance to see this Monday night's performance or any of the previous 8 that we've done, they'll all just get posted right up on the same page that you find all the information about the scripts. So you'll be able to watch them at another time if you don't get a chance to see them live with us. I think that's it. If the playwrights or if the actors want to say anything before we go, I will let you all enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. Yes, I'm gonna see if we have any here last minute. Very good, Ed. I loved it. It tells so much about people from Ife. Yes, so we got that one too. Really thoughtful, Ed. Well written and well acted from Bernice. So thank you guys. I just wanted to get all those in there before we left you all this evening. So once again, thanks
I-
everybody. Ed, yeah, go ahead, Ed.
One thing quickly. I hope everybody remembers when they were really little, what was more exciting than a big box that you could climb into and they were
Nothing.
wonderful.
And the imagination can go wild in there. I think that was the great, one of the great lessons from that script. So thank you, Ed. And Ife, yeah, if you wanted to say anything before we sign off.
No, I just want to say thank you to everyone that was involved and everyone that came out to hear it and hear us rather. It was really
Wonderful. And those are I echo those sentiments definitely. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you again Monday on February 8th. Thanks again, all. Bye. Have a good
Bye.
evening. Stay safe.
Bye, everyone.
Stay healthy. Take care of each other.
Okay,
Soon.
you too. Bye-bye, Molly.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh.